Welcome friends. Today we will be studying a case, a small business case, which is about a canteen run by a individual in a particular university, and what are the how he progressed, how the things around him and business environment around him changed, and how he had to fight out the possibilities that we are looking into in this particular presentation. And this is a published case. It has already been published in the journal, research journal. So you may have the link of that particular paper uh, in the description box below, from where you can actually click and visit that particular page and download the paper also. So let us have directly start with the particular case. So this is about a person whose name is Vimal, and he holds a canteen in an university department. So this is a case study about him. So we go forward to have a look at the case. Let us try to understand what is the case and how it has been placed. So he's a guy of say 28 years, having his own home very close to a university. He is married. He had a son, but but did not have any regular employment. So that was the stage when he actually was. Explains the stage when he actually starts his business and how he lands up in that particular business of opening a canteen. So that particular place is a hilly place and for very near to an university. It's a village where full of tea gardens around, and most of the people here get engaged in tea gardens at different levels based on their level of education, etc. And some people do some other types of job, but there are no industries other than the tea industry nearby. So there is no very less employment opportunities, and since it's a village place, of the purchasing power of the people are relatively less. So starting a business is quite difficult because there are not much money with the people around. So and there are some towns nearby. People when want to buy something special or something in bulk, they prefer to visit to the towns than to purchase from the village itself, because villages because of transportation and other things, the things become costly. Other things which are produced in the villages are relatively less, being a hilly place, that particular village. So he is unemployed, have family with children. He has a number of nephews, his brother's son, most of whom are also unemployed and are relatively young, say in the age group of 13 to 20 years. They are also looking for a particular type of job and employment in the university, and so was Bimal. He did not have any technical education or even education, very minimum education, maybe not even completed his school education, and obviously no technical knowledge. So that way no technical job can be offered by the university, and the university is a process of recruitment also. However, some casual employments are there where the university don't have to go through the standard process, and may recruit some people for some casual works with a fixed salary. So this is the university campus. This is the university campus, which is actually when the campus was identified, it was full of trees and jungle. So that was the area which was identified as the main campus. Earlier, when the university started, it started in some buildings discreetly at in the town, nearby town. But when the campus was identified, it was basically initially it was a green hilltop with lot of trees all around. So this what you are seeing green in color. This is the actually are some trees where this university is currently located. Now, when the university started functioning, they need to got a campus, so they have to clear out some of the trees and then find out some buildings. Try to restore as much greenery as possible, but some trees need to be cut down so that the university buildings can be built. And so a lot of cutting took place. The university internal road was made, and then came up with some so that people can move around in the campus. So initially there were nothing like other than forest. There was nothing. So trees were cut down, roads were built, and then this is the actually animated picture of how the roads are built. And this is the university road map inside the university. This is the road. And then some buildings started to came up. First came the university gate. Then came some buildings like hostels and then library Then this is the business administration department which came up. Then computer science, chemistry, physics, all these buildings came up. Sorry for this. And then we had a road to the hostel also in between. This is not a road, but this is a staircase which takes people from the science block to the hostels. And then we have the visual arts department, mass comm department, health center, economics and commerce department, and then social work, political science, sociology, etc., Indian languages, foreign languages. So these are the humanities side, where in the left side of the university, and all science subjects were in the right side of the university. Other science subject later on came up in this part of the graph, but we are not considering it because we are mainly focused. So here is the Bimal canteen located, Bimal's canteen, which is very close to the MBA department. So this is the more or less the structure of, very roughly drawn, obviously, the structure of the university campus. Now, initially when it started, when the campus started functioning, initially the roads were being built, and the different departments were at the near the gate in some transit accommodation. These are transit accommodations where the administrative building is the fixed one, not a transit one. Hostels was the fixed one. A library was there, and then MB and commerce department were simultaneously together, and then computer science, chemistry, physics, they became functioning, and this was the Bimal's canteen. This was initially the map when it started in 2002. All the other buildings were yet to come up, and the roads were also too restricted to, did not have roads in all directions. The problem of having this building is that right now, that when the in 2002 was that this is the only canteen available to the people. So all the students who came to commerce and MBA department, they used to take food from here. All the teachers used to take food from here. The people who came to the library may sometime rest land here to take the food. For computer science, chemistry, physics, the science students, there were some canteens in that side. However, some people for in search of tasty food or some differently tasted food used to come to Bimal canteen. So Bimal was actually having a huge group of customers. The initially it started with small hut, but later on it was given a concrete space, a well furnished kitchen. So when the university started in this in the previous slide, in this place, when the departments, initially all the departments were very close to the gate in transit accommodation, but as the buildings were built, they were shifted from this transit accommodation to the permanent buildings inside the campus, and the distance from this to this place, say around a kilometer or little less than a kilometer. So it's quite difficult for a person studying in this department to walk 1 kilometer and come to the canteen and then go back to their department. So obviously these departments have some canteen here, these departments had some canteen here, but this department like MBA, which has a large number of students, and so did commerce along with the library staff, actually had a take food from this canteen itself. There was a need of a canteen because the people and the students and teachers from these three buildings, it was the nearest canteen was them for them was that one, the one beyond physics. So that was quite some distance from them. So there was a need of a canteen. So initially Bimal was searching for jobs. So he visited the department and in search of job, if any casual or anything like running errands, visiting the administrative building, etc., like doing a work of a peon. Then the head of the department gave him a proposal that why don't you start a canteen? So he built a hut near the department and started to provide tea and other things, refreshment to the people of the department, students and teachers. But then the department decided that in order, because we need a canteen after all, so let us make a concrete space and a structure of a canteen nearby where students can come, stand, sit, and or sit and take the food, and then they can also. So he was given a space which and well furnished kitchen was built. Electricity was made free to these people, and then free water was provided to him. His wife and nephew soon started to work as his employees. So wife became the cook of that particular canteen, and his nephews, who were around say 12 to 20 years, were also in search of some job. They started to join him, and so he was having a lot of workers to run the canteen, necessary to run the canteen. Bimal and his customers. So let us have a look at who are the customers of Bimal. So early morning class would start in the business administration department. The class would start at 8. So students mostly without taking their breakfast traveled from their home and reached. They would start at around 6:30 from their home and somehow managed to reach the university by the university bus at 8. So most of them were unable to take breakfast so early in the morning. Might have taken a sip of the morning chai and bread, etc. But then they actually, so these students actually came down and used to come to take their breakfast from the mall's canteen. And then when in the noon, when the sun rises at the top at around 12:30, when there is a break, all the students from both commerce and business administration department gather in the Bimal's canteen to take their lunch. This then when in the sunset, when the sun used to set, the classes would get over. Once again, there was a accumulation of students in Bimal's canteen because now that around 4 or 4:30, when the class gets over, it was about more than 2 hours to reach their home. So students would get hungry by the time. So they used to take food from Bimal's canteen and then return to their home. So Bimal could serve like breakfast, lunch, and dinner to a large number of students and was having a good customer base. His wife and his nephew used to serve as the cook and the waiters of the canteen. But in after 3 years, in 2005, the Department of Commerce was shifted to a place location near the gate, and so did the students. Commerce students went there. So green dots gone, green dots representing commerce students. But the business administration department expanded in size by increasing the number of seats for the students. So they could now afford to take more students, and accordingly, the number of these are the new students who are coming up, and old students also used to visit Bimal's canteen. So though the commerce department shifted, but Bimal was never in dearth of customers because the business administration department has expanded in size. Now, at this point, let us see what are the good things about the business. The things were available at reasonable price. Room service was provided to the teachers also. He was a mannered person, good mannered, and would perform customized services only. That many a time it so happened that teacher wants to take something, so he may think that there is nothing like this now, but I can cook. These are the options. I can cook just now and serve. So some type of customized service are were also provided to. And these were the good things about Bimal's canteen. But the bad things were that he was late in responding. If you order him food, it would take more time. So sometimes students start classes. So classes start, so they have to go back. Similarly with the teachers, they order at 12:30, expecting that the lunch will be served by them to them by 12:45. But it did not happen, and maybe that the class starts from 1 p.m. So at 1 p.m. he goes to the class and the food is not served. So this happened. It was similar type of taste. Did not experiment with his food at all, and so the taste was all the same. And most importantly, he was sometimes absent from work. At some point of time, you may come and find that he is not at all in that particular place. He has decided to take a holiday that day. Not only he is not coming, he, his wife, entire family is not coming. So the canteen is closed. So those days were very difficult days because teachers come early morning, students also come early in the morning and then want to have a breakfast. And that is the time when other canteens of the university, whatever canteens are there, were also closed. So there was no option for them to take the food. So and it was often found that to avoid loss of food or wastage of food, he cooks food in less amount, so that leading to the shortage of food. Less involvement of capital because he did not invest money much. Whatever money he used to get, he used to circulate, and his service was not appropriate. So these were the things which were the lack of things that means disadvantages of Bimal's business. Now, these were from the consumer side, what the consumer felt, what the good things that the consumer felt about the Bimal's canteen, and what are the evil things or the disadvantages that were in the consumer side. Now, let us look at what were from the Bimal's point of view, what were the laurels and the dirts. The laurels were he did not give any rent to the university. He was not required to give any rent. He was just given a space which he can where he can actually cook and serve. So Otherwise, if you would have given an official canteen in the university, you need to pay rent to the university, which in this case is not done. No expenditure on lighting. So he lighting and all. So lighting, electricity expenditure was not there. There was no water rent on water that he was using. He provided lunch during workshop conferences and seminars. So that was a very happening department, business administration department. And in the business administration department, often workshop conferences and seminars were held. So he used to provide food to the during the seminar days, starting from the morning tea to the evening tea and lunch in between. So often, at least once or twice a month, he used to provide food at a handsome rate to a large number of people for 2 3 days. So that was his additional income, which without any effort he used to get this additional business. Less expenditure on staff salary because staff salary was also less for him. Because his wife was cooking, hardly she would ask for any salary, and so were his nephews were given some amount of money for their work, not much. So, and he gets loan without interest also. Sometimes the teachers, he can ask for loan that from the teachers as well, that I want to buy some utensils, please give me some money. So then teachers used to give him money, and against that he did not actually have to pay any interest. For that purpose he was that was a beneficial thing for him. Some disadvantages were like some potential customers are not regular. This means sometimes students doesn't come, and due to some vacation and all, or holidays, or students means vacations, when the teachers do come but the students do not come, study leave etc., students do not come. So some days he suffers a loss because of lack of customers. He had to provide the salary to the staff even during the holidays. So whatever staff he involved, and then he has to give the salary even during holidays. And there were a lot of complaints against him to the HOD made by the students and the teachers for poor service. Complaint of customers against service staff and taste of food. So these were some common complaints that were registered against him to the head of the department of the business administration. Now the business situation started to change. Let us see after a few years, that is in 2010, how the situation changed. The situation changed with several new departments coming up, like the visual arts department and the mass communication department came nearby. Then the social work department came out, and then we had the department of Indian languages, followed by the department of foreign languages in two separate buildings, having several departments in these two buildings. And there was sociology, political science and history in another building, and the education department by the side. So many such departments came up abruptly, and most of these departments had a canteen nearby them. So suddenly library also started to have a canteen, established a canteen near them. So suddenly the Bimal who was having a canteen here and was the sole canteen nearby. Obviously the other departments were also not there, but now there were several, at least 6 canteens were around, and that created a huge disadvantage for him, because like now he has to face some competition earlier which was not there. Even the dissatisfied customer who had to complain to the HOD for poor service or poor quality of food had could not shift to any other canteen, because there were no options earlier. But now there are many options. Now these people don't need to complain, they just visit to the other department, and the competition became very tough. So this is let us take a broader picture. So this is Bimal canteen, this is several other canteens, 6 of them around him. Now these customers, his fixed customers, fixed students who used to take food always from him, now started to move to the other canteens also for experimenting and tasting whether, and these canteens were nearby, not a long distance away, say 100 meters, within a periphery of 100 meters or 150 meters, these canteens were located. So they started to shift. Obviously some people from the other departments also might have visited Bimal's canteen in order to taste of food. As the students of the business administration department went, the reverse also happened, but ultimately that number was not less. Now what happened, he gets some new customers like these coming from the other departments, but many of his old customers actually left him and started to search the possibilities in other departments. At this, Bimal became a little bit sentimental as well, as his long-standing customers were visiting other canteens. But ultimately, he was at loss because more number of customers have left. Now, the career graph of Bimal in 2010, which was going up sharply high after this period, but then there was a big down, and he could not now estimate the number of customers. Earlier he knew that okay, in this setup at least 80 people will take food from me, so he used to cook food for 80 people, and there was some little bit plus minus. But nowadays it is not predictable. Like some days 35 people come to him for food, others go elsewhere. Some days are there where more people, say 100 people, come to him. So he has decreased the amount of food to be cooked. Like earlier he was cooking for 80 people, now he is cooking for 50 people because lesser number of customers are coming. But that day maybe 80 people are visiting his shop. So many people do not get food. So they go to some other canteens cursing Bimal for not providing the food or unable to provide the food. And so what they did is that this way they actually next day this customer base decreased further. So these things started to happen regularly with Bimal, and Bimal was quite at a loss to run this. Now that was the case. The moral of Bimal was simply shattered. He did not like the movement of his long-standing customers to other stalls. He, however, welcomed his new customers, but they also did not last for long because they are from other departments. After experimenting little bit, when they found that the quality and the price of food of Bimal was almost same to that of their canteen, they started to converge to their own canteen or the nearby canteen of their department. He became all the more emotional whenever the faculty members and other staff also visited the nearby canteens. Meanwhile, some of his nephews also abandoned him in search of greener pastures. Because some of his nephews who have over the years grown up now, who were earlier in the 20s, early 20s, or say were in the teenage, and now they have reached around 24, 25 years, or 21, 22 years, or like 18, 19 years. So they are also thinking about other possibilities, because a lot of countries there also they required some people who were offering them better salaries. So they abandoned Bimal and went to those salaries. So Bimal has now don't have the advantage which earlier he had because of employing his family members. Now he have to search for people who are beyond his family and who were also asking for higher salary. So meanwhile, some of his estimate about the amount of food to be cooked failed almost every day. Sometimes many regular customers found all food stuff over when they arrived. So it happened some regular customers who were loyal to Bimal in terms of their consumption of food were concerned, came back to Bimal, and then maybe late in the afternoon and found that all the food is over because Bimal has estimated very less amount of food. So all these were the issues that Bimal were facing. Now, if you look at overall analysis, taking into consideration both the consumer and the seller, so it runs like this: the nice running business was suddenly put to threat by new competitors. Leaving of staff led to loss of manpower. Proper managing of resources and estimation failed. The constant customer base suddenly became a variable. The problem was abrupt and Bimal did not know how to get back his stolen customers. So this was the problem. He did not have any business know-how and could not understand how these things can actually handle. Everyone was tired of eating the same food and welcome the other available options offered by the canteens which appeared nearby. With a sudden absence of skilled staff, waiting time was enhanced. So the people who were serving Bimal for some time, as they started leaving, so he has to employ new customers, new employees who did not have the experience of working with the customers. So the waiting time of the customers was enhanced. Often shortage of food was recorded. Several complaints were recorded against him to the authority. Often the canteen remained closed in working day when the students were absent, leading to dissatisfaction of the faculty members. So Bimal, instead of having a less number of customers, when he needed to be very proactive to gain his customers, tried to take a holiday, which he did earlier also. Take a holiday whenever he understood that students are not going to come. So when students doesn't come, he lose a bulk of his customers. That day he will not get a bulk of his customers. Only the faculty members and the students from other department might visit. So he decides to take holiday, doesn't come back. This creates a problem to lot of faculty members and they don't. Now this is the case of Bimal. So we had made an 360-degree analysis, taking both internal and external factors. Now let us generalize the case to reach to a solution. This study can be generalized to the problems when the monopoly of a particular business house is suddenly put to threat by several other similar business houses declaring their presence. So this is a particular case. To analyze this case and to reach a solution to the case, we actually we can do it for this case, and then we can generalize the results for all such business houses who were running the business like a monopoly, and then suddenly find stiff competition because of so many other, because of the presence of so many other business houses providing the similar type of goods or services. Examples of similar type of problems might be several banks suddenly start operating in the vicinity of a very busy branch. A very popular restaurant in town is challenged by several chain of restaurants. A mobile connection company, loaner in a particular geographical location, suddenly confronts other service providers. The solution of the Bimal's case may act as a torchbearer to the similar problems discussed earlier. So these are some of the examples where this case be taken to, and these are some examples. It may be beyond these examples as well. So this is how the case can be there. So thank you for watching this video. You may click the link below and download the paper on Bimal's Canteen, which has been published in the research journal as a case study. Thank you for watching.